a lot this morning. Um, a lot on like our stupidity as humans. Um, so if you've been listening to the past few, it's like they were going along with that line where it's like people end up believing what they're believing and repeating it so much and roping other people into their belief. So then it's really cemented in and cemented down. And then when they realize they're wrong, or that it's coming back to bite them or haunt them or block them or stop them or keep them bound and stuck to that same belief, it's like they can't break through and they see other people have, and it's infuriating. And it's like, well, you tied yourself to that belief and then all these people around you. So now you have to bust through that belief and all those people and all their beliefs and all their, it's like the idea of be careful what you ask for, be careful what you're sure of. It was true for you, that exact experience, but you made it so specific and made that law and belief within you that now you're bound to it. And so you get angry when you see other people free from it. It's like flying in the face of your laws. How could they? And just, it's like in that anger and in that still misunderstanding is what's keeping you stuck and stagnant and will keep you remaining there forevermore until you can bust through. What else did they? Oh, and so it was along these same lines where, all right, slow down now. Where you hear people say stuff all the time. This is a good example of well, it's true, but what's the real message, and is it the right truth at the right time? For instance, people say if you keep doing the same thing and don't like the outcome, it's insane, right? There's something. You get but then in the next breath, they'll tell you, just be consistent, be patient. So you want me to be insane, right? Or, oh, right. So it's like people get confused by this because there's so much garbage that is spewed out of people's mouths all the time. And they're having you listen to them. No, listen to them. No, listen to them. No, they know. No, they know. No, they know. No, they know. I know. Right? And they've all experienced it. Yes, of course you have. You've proven yourself right, you egomaniac. And so it's like, this is why you cannot listen to others in that context. You have to be able to think for your own. It's fine to collect data and to hear what they're saying and try to interpret it in your language and see if it's true for you and if it applies in the scenario. So take that same scenario. You go to the gym every day for 2 weeks, working out, doing this and doing that, and you are not getting the results you wanted. So if you keep going at it, some people would say you're insane. Other people would say, well, in this instance, or this exception, right? Like they make exceptions to their laws. That's why they have so many laws and so many amendments to all those laws and so many amendments to those amendments. Well, but. We do this. We want to justify, explain, excuse, amend in, correct, but not admit, right? Not step back and see the bigger picture. Not admit we were wrong. Not see where we're wrong. Who are we hurting? Ourselves. Just ourselves. And then everybody else around us, because they keep hearing that same thing. And then they're cementing in that same belief. And then they're getting confused and gaslit and what's real, what's fake, what's true, what's false. They don't know how to think for themselves. And all they hear is everybody else screaming their rules. And we can gaslight ourselves. We can get ourselves into a tizzy. Easily. In this world, easily. With how fast everything comes at us, easily. You could straighten yourself out every day and be in a tizzy an hour later. I'm like that. I'm like that. I'll get myself squared away. And then it's like anytime you leave the present moment, you're slipping from your alignment. You're slipping from your power. And again, we've talked about this in depth. For me, it's good and bad in that sometimes I need to learn stuff, right? And so I can't stay, although you can still stay fully present while learning, while reading, while doing these things. But there are certain things that even in doing such, my mind will end up wandering. Well, why? What is it wandering to? What is calling my attention? What has more power over me? Is it directing me in a way? Is there a reason for it? If we can stay present enough to be aware that we have slipped from our current task or intention and watch what our mind is trying to show us or tell us, we can have that opportunity to engage or correct it, or, like, in other words, say same scenario, I'm learning something, I'm reading something, I'm staying present and engaged, but I notice my mind starting to drift, and I bring it back to the book, bring it back to the book, and then I realize, okay, it's drifting, so I let it drift again, but watch it, and watch where it's drifting to and why. And so I can then be like, oh, you're worried about what, right? It's like, see what it is. Or you're sad about what? What are you looking at? So that I can give it real truth and see what it's upset about or worried about or fussing about or trying to, like, what it's trying to do, so that you can correct it right then and there and give it a new truth or a new experience or a new belief or a new understanding, or see it a new way to release it and get back to the task at hand. So, I mean, you have to figure out what works for you and where you're at. And if you're able to do that. I wasn't always able to do that. And so, yeah, you don't need to hear all my rule books. Because the only rule book that matters is universal law. I say it the way that works for me. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Don't do unto others as you don't want done to you. Because I feel like that is a truer, deeper understanding for me, right? Like, I can understand that and I can put myself in those scenarios. So I can see if I have any expectations, if I'm moving from my heart or if I'm moving from my head, my ego, looking to get, right? And so that will help, that helps me to verbalize it that way. But other people can understand the depths of that when they say it's just a mirror, or they say, what you put out is what you get back, like all these things. But for me, that wasn't deep enough. What you put out is what you get back, because I was still, lying to myself at points. What do you mean I'm being nice? I'm not getting nice back. What do you mean I'm giving love? I'm not getting love back, right? And so it's like I couldn't hear it or see it that way. I couldn't understand what they were saying, because it's to me, it's deeper than that. It's like, well, what was really going on there? If you're truthful, right? So it's at times you were people pleasing. And so that's why you have to unravel that stuff. Well, were you people pleasing, and where did that come from? And so sometimes you have to understand all of that so that you can truly release it, pull the plug from that belief, from that God, that limit, that tie, that bind, that whatever you want to call it. But it will rule you until you can understand and release yourself and free yourself from it. Otherwise, you're going to still believe it, even though you don't understand why you're, quote, following the rule or the law and being nice to others. Why is, and it's like, you're still looking to get, you're still, like, there's all this stuff that's there, but you have to look at this stuff. There's so many of them that you have to look at it. And so whatever saying works for you, that you can understand that depth, that the intention behind it matters. That's the truest mirror you're getting back. And a lot of people don't know themselves, and they don't know their heart. They don't know their intention. They're so operating from their ego, and their ego is keeping them blind and deaf. It's trying to protect them by keeping them blind and deaf. I won't let you experience that again, right? Like it's, and we just, so we are running around confused and don't understand and trying so hard. And then you'll hear people say, we're making it more difficult than it needs to be. Agreed, we totally are. But they don't understand, so that doesn't help. And so that's really frustrating. And I think that's why they have me go into depth a lot in these, not just for my own sake, but it is for my own sake. If you've been listening from the beginning, you're aware that I had to learn a lot. I really had to learn a lot and understand a lot and unravel a lot, as I believe most of us do. But most of us don't share it this way. And so people almost are too embarrassed to, it's like, see the silliness that's going on, because they don't want to just speak out that silliness. But sometimes we have to unravel it. And you don't have to necessarily do it this way, and you don't even necessarily have to do it with another. But if you speak it out loud to yourself, right? This is, you've heard me say many a times, I talk to myself all the time. I do. And sometimes I'll find myself talking out loud to myself out in public. And it's like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Right? Like we have to be, And so, I think people probably have done that. They've just put such control on themselves. So you're doing that same thing. You're just not loose enough to talk out loud outside. Do you see what I'm saying? You see me talking to myself outside and you're like, oh, that person's crazy. Well, that thought in your head is the exact same thing I'm doing out loud. Do you see? So if I'm crazy, you're crazy. I'm just willing to heal myself, and I don't care how it looks. That's the difference. It's like I'm putting my ego down and trying to figure it out. I'm not suggesting you have to do that. I'm suggesting that free yourself from caring how it looks, right? Or worrying about what other people think or say. You're not going to get very far if you keep getting pulled back on that string, right? If we keep getting pulled back on that string of caring about how others perceive us, you're not going to get far, because everybody has a different perception. So you're always going to be living in that fear and worry. And I've been there. It's a very confined, tight little space. And it takes a while to release that one. And that one will rear its head over and over again because of the world we live in. So even when you think you've broken free of that, it's something that tends to creep up. And so you just have to be conscious of it and remain present and keep asking yourself the right questions. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.